guest, let's shift focus to something which has been making a lot of news in the past couple of weeks, the recent craze over concerts, may it be Diljit Dosanjh, Lipa, and obviously Coldplay's upcoming concert, which has displayed the spending shift and the spending power of urban India. The young are spending more on events, concerts, travel, experiences. But Mangalam, gold prices are still going up. That aside,
Gold, Zomato Gold, and all the golden passes at all the concerts. That's exactly what's happening. That's telling you about, the spending shift. And at the same time, also the value fashion retailers are struggling, whereas everyone else is doing extremely well. It speaks about this shift that we're seeing as well towards events, travel, luxury goods, fashion, electronics, all of them. There were people queuing up for the iPhone 16 even as they ordered it on their quick commerce apps as well. And this is exactly what, brokerages believe as well. This morning, there was a CLSA note saying that on urban consumption, there were almost 1 million people waiting in queue for tickets priced between $50 to $400. That's really 6,000 rupees to about, 35,000 rupees for Coldplay. Major concerts, including the likes of Diljit Dosanjh, Lipa, Bryan Adams, sold over 250,000 tickets rapidly. Ticket sale prices, resale prices have actually surged past 5 times the original price as well. And concerts alone, if you just look at the average ticket price selling and the number of tickets which have been sold, generated over 350 to 400 crores in terms of revenue this year so far, which is almost 40% of the listed QSRs or quick service restaurants incremental sales. So that is a shift that we're witnessing in urban consumption. How one plays that and what the future for this looks like is something very crucial to track, largely because we also saw an experience, led surge in World Cup and IPL, a lot of these sporting events as well, which saw a fair amount of surge. So we do have, a bunch of concerts. We spoke about Diljit Dosanjh, Bryan Adams, Dua Lipa. You have recent favorites like Karan Aujla and AP Dhillon performing in multiple cities in Mumbai as well. And then, of course, all of that leading up to the big Coldplay event. And globally as well, we've seen this phenomenon with Swifties, all the Taylor Swift fans going all over, wherever Taylor Swift performs. Coldplay is performing, maybe we'll see something from, Taylor Swift, given the sort of discretionary spends that India has as well. So that is setting that up for you. Let's discuss more on the future of events and how they should be conducted in India and what the structure of this industry looks like going forward. We have, quite a panel for you. We have Deepak Chaudhary, who's the founder and MD at EVA Live. We have Salim Merchant, the musician, and we also have with us Roshan Abbas, who's the founder at Commune and Compass. Roshan, let's start with you. I mean, what, according to you, is the potential size of the events market in India, and what will this structure be? Because on the one hand, you have a lot of people buying or queuing up for passes for some of these headline events, but then there are a lot of events that happen which don't sell as many passes. In fact, they go in losses as well. So what is this structure likely to be and the size?
Thank you. So honestly, I think it's great times for the event business and the concert business. Largely, our businesses are divided into various segments. So corporate events has always been the steady, money earner, which just keeps agencies going. But over the last 10, 15 years, the 2-3 areas that have really, really grown. One, of course, is the social event sector, which is weddings, because as you know, our country is crazy about them. And that is considered to be the largest pie in the entire event business. But the surge post-pandemic actually is a 3x surge of what's happening with ticketed events, essentially. We've already created now, both at one level, the technology, though of course we still need a lot of work in infrastructure because there are just not enough venues to actually handle the demand which is going on. I presume that this is going to add at least 3,000 crores to this market over the next 2-3 years. Of course, if infrastructure, government bodies, everyone supports this business, and this is purely the concerts business that I'm talking about in India. But if you look at ticketed events, when you said that there are ticketed events that actually end up with halls that are not fulfilled, it's actually, when we carry together legacy events from the past, the audience is changing. Their top 3 or 4 focus areas are comedy, music, sports, Bollywood. These have always been great areas. Comedy being the one which has just got added recently over the last couple of years. People like Zakir Khan, Veer Das, etc., filling stadiums, many stadiums. They're doing 3,000 to 7,000 people in auditoriums themselves. What is still lagging behind a little is the legacy events, which were classical concerts, etc., which used to happen. Theatre also is actually seeing a little bit of a resurgence, but this audience is the one big change is earlier we would buy tickets extremely early, which we will still do for top-end concerts. But our weekend purchase is extremely last minute. So you'll find people, organizers having mini heart attacks just before an event because they don't know. But, suddenly you'll find that 70% spend is happening in the last week. This is for smaller events where the discretion is left to the very last minute, and that's when young audiences are voting with their wallet. So that's largely the space.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an interesting statistic coming in. 3x surge in ticketing events post-COVID. That's the word coming in from Roshan. Salim, I wanted to get you into this conversation as well. We have 6 big concerts coming up from December up till Jan 21st, which is basically, ending with Coldplay. According to you, which ones will probably be the most biggest money spinners? And which ones will probably see the maximum amount of revenue potential?
I think the Coldplay one is really, has really made a lot of buzz. 3 concerts to sell out like this, I mean, it's kind of, but then I am not surprised because, Coldplay has millions of fans, and we are like 1.6 billion people in India. Every 6th guy on the planet is essentially Indian. So you can understand how many, what's the potential of this country's market. It's huge. And I mean, my plight is that, if...
I think we've lost that connection. Maybe we can toss that over to Deepak as well. Deepak, we have the likes of Bryan Adams, Diljit Dosanjh, Dua Lipa, AP Dhillon, Coldplay, all of these concerts coming up. According to you, how much do you think each event can probably make on an average?
Okay, so we've seen these days now. I think we've taken some time to get here.
Right, I think we're not very lucky with the bandwidth so far. I hope these concerts go pretty smoothly, unlike the conversation that we're having right now. We'll go back to Salim in just a bit. But Salim, like you said, actually we do have Salim back with us. Salim, you said that Coldplay has a lot of fans. The ticket sales and all of that are showing you this. But why do you think the organizers are getting flack for this? Many are disgruntled. Over 10 lakh people in the queue. Capacity is just about 1.5 lakh. Is there anything that Book My Show could have done better? Is the queuing system that they have similar to global standards? I mean, has there been a fair ask from, or has there been a fair representation from Book My Show's end here?
Well, absolutely. I think they've done a great job. We used to just have this in our dreams that, I hope we can see a Coldplay in our lives, or, like an Ed Sheeran or a Dua Lipa in our lives. And they've making our dreams come true. They're making it possible. And they've done everything, great. I mean, having 3 concerts is not easy, the logistics nightmare, the nightmares that they have to face. But they made it happen. I mean, but like I said, India's 1.6 billion people, we should have possibly had 6 to 8 concerts. Like when Coldplay goes to America, they have so many concerts, in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in New York, in Houston, and whatever. And India is 1.6 billion people. We definitely need more concerts. They've done everything right. There's 4 tickets per person. I mean, just like any international standards, and you really can't stop these resale sites from doing this. But as a fan and as a composer, as a musician, as an artist, I would not go and buy these tickets from resale sites, because I've been in a problem once when I went to see a Taylor Swift concert. I bought 3 tickets, and they were not the same tickets as I was promised on the resale sites. So legally, I think because Book My Show is the only legal site, I wouldn't go and buy a ticket from a resale site. It's because there's no surety that it's going to be the right ticket.
But a lot of people still want tickets, and a lot of people haven't gotten tickets. So maybe they're looking to get inside that stadium by hook or crook. What we'll do is we'll take a short break, come back, we'll continue our discussion on this very exciting topic. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Well, you're still tuned into the discussion with regards to concerts, how big they are in terms of money spinners. So let's continue that conversation with our guest. Deepak, over to you. If you could give us a sense in terms of how much these 6 concerts which are coming up could probably potentially make on an average, and how much can we probably generate in terms of revenue?
Okay, I'm going to go give a little background and where Roshan mentioned that what was happening pre-pandemic. And so it's taken us some time to get here. There are reasons why we've reached here. From giving the habit of transactions have changed, habit of consume. This is a new consumer. Okay, so it's actually that change has added to the overall growth. Now, when we saw a Karan Aujla announcing one show and it went sold out, and then they announced a second show and then the third show, averagely more than 13,000 tickets were sold per show. Okay, and then they announced more cities. So 100,000 tickets have at an average of, let's say, around $5,000 at an average Karan Aujla is sold. So more than 50 crore a number Karan Aujla himself is doing. Diljit Dosanjh has, when they got let's say a HDFC Pixel to sponsor, they thought HDFC thought, what are they doing? But they realized they actually registered more than 100,000 cards. And how it happened that the only ticket was bought through an HDFC ecosystem. Now, in that whole thing, more than 100,000 tickets of Diljit Dosanjh have been sold in 10 plus cities, and 3 more cities are getting announced. Now, and at an average again of 8 to 9,000, so more than 100 crore tickets have been sold for Diljit itself. Yeah, and if it can keep going, AP Dillon is in the process. Coldplay numbers we all know, more than 150,000 people are getting there in Coldplay in 3 cities, and Ahmedabad is getting announced soon, what I hear. And it'll do 250,000 people, and we know the maths, what's going on. I'm doing Brian Adams India tour. Brian Adams India tour is coming with 70 cities in India, and I've sold out most of my cities, and only Hyderabad is little short of sales. Yeah, so that's where the numbers are.
All right. Thank you for the numbers. Just a final word, Roshan. Salim did allude to this reselling and people not buying from reselling platforms, etc. In the wake of all of this, Zomato has come up with a buy now, sell later option. Is that, in a way, nudging people towards scalping or reselling these tickets? Because technically, black marketing of tickets is illegal.
No, absolutely. I think, see, the idea is that today when you go and book a ticket, sometimes for a fixed price on an airline by paying a little bit of an advance, etc., or sometimes you're blocking your space, and there are definitely a certain amount of people who are then not able to make it to a concert. There are changes that happen. It's an impulse buy that you bought. You realize you're in a different city. You're not finding many other things to happen, which is why this is an attempt to try and see that. Because I also know very clearly that there is the limit has been set in terms of pricing. International scalping is anything goes. I mean, just as what Salim was saying, there were tickets for Taylor Swift, I remember towards the end, which were a ticket for £100 was going for £1,500. I mean, 15x the price was a very average kind of thing that was going on. So that a couple of these, what Zomato, etc., are trying. See, we only have 2 ticketing apps largely at the moment. There'll be Zomato, which will be rebranded very soon, and you had Insider, which they've already purchased on one side. Between these 2, the attempt to build a larger market size to see what this audience's appetite is. I don't think it's an attempt towards looking at saying, hey, is this a way of making more revenue? I feel that sometimes we're sort of just booking a place for the future. Just as you said, the queuing system that's used in India, which Book My Show was using, is the same one used at Taylor Swift. Nobody anticipates, the number of people, 15 million people coming in for 150,000 tickets. But really, honestly, I think the focus needs to shift a little bit more on what is the government doing to support this infrastructure, because there is obviously 18% tax on each of these tickets. That is a huge earning. If 3,000 crores is going to come into the kitty, that's money. There are jobs. There are over 1 million jobs that the event fraternity adds to India. These are jobs that young people love. And
all right, Roshan.
Hate, I suddenly was a little worried about. Sorry.
All right, Roshan, we have to sort of end this conversation at this point in time because there's a little bit of volatility which is seeping in back into the markets. So Deepak, Salim, as well as Roshan, thank you very much for joining in and speaking with us and taking us through that. Well, for the markets, yes, there is some amount of